Hello, guys. Greetings from Oklahoma City. Technically, I'm in Edmond, but I just wanted to send out a quick video, talk about your replies to the resumes, cover letters, and your job ads that you're posting this week, and give you some pointers or some tips or some things to think about when you're responding or when you're leaving feedback, I should say, for the peer review activity this weekend. So um, let's take a quick look at that here real quick. So I'm in the Project 1A peer review forum. So let's go back to the main page here, and let's just kind of, for the purpose of review, recall you'll go to peer review here, right? And so today, some of you, maybe if you haven't posted yet, you're still posting your draft. So you'll come here and recall I've got the instructions here, right? So you'll click on this, and then when you go to the next screen, it says you'll need to create a thread. Recall to enter your name in the subject line here. Attach one file, post your resume, cover letter, and the job ad in one file, a .docx, or a PDF is fine. So once you've posted your draft, please follow these instructions for leaving feedback. So number one, you can provide feedback to two of your fellow classmates, Project 1A materials. When providing feedback, please begin by pointing out what they are doing well. So we want to always start off on a positive note, say, I really like the way that you are doing this. I like the way you've designed X, Y, or Z. I like the way you set up and addressed your cover letter in a very professional manner. I like that you've done this, you've addressed someone specific, you've done whatever. Start with those kind of positive things. And then when you provide any and all feedback, i.e. constructive criticism, please do this in a respectful and professional tone. And so these are some of the things. So I say focus on the main concepts we've covered in the course thus far. So how might you think about seeing the page as a grid, right? Appropriate typeface or font usage, use of text structures, proper use of verb tense. Recall in chapter 10 of Markel this week, we read about using those active past tense verbs depending on the job. Does it pass the 20-second test? Is there consistent hierarchy? These are just to name a few. So other things that I might add to that to get you to have you think about things like that, and that is make sure that you read the job ad that your fellow student has posted. See if there is, you're starting to get like a one-to-one correlation. Are we responding to the actual ad itself? So if the job ad lists, let's say that it's a computer programming position or computer programming job or software engineering or something like that. And let's say it mentions SQL or Cobalt or C++ or whatever, or any other type of acronyms or any other type of designated skills, right? Must be proficient in blah, 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 or whatever. We should see those things end up, right, at least being addressed either in the cover letter, or we might want to see them listed as a skill set or something like that, perhaps in on the resume, right, listed somewhere. And so, excuse me, make sure you pay attention and read the job ad too as your as part of your feedback process. So read the job ad, and then you should read those materials, and you should start to see somewhat of a one-to-one correlation, right? You should see the resume directly kind of answering, right? Containing a lot of those keywords that are in the job ad. And then when you see those skills listed, right, we should be thinking about the resume as if it's going to pass the 20-second test, if it's going to be scannable. The bullet points need to be short. We're not looking at for paragraphs, right, in a resume. Things like that we learned through Markel, and things that we're just learning about design in general. Okay, so think about providing some constructive feedback to your classmates that way. So if you do see a situation where you want to provide some constructive feedback about either grading or design, I encourage you to kind of think about phrases like, when it comes to the design of your resume, you might think about X, right? So if you feel maybe someone maybe needs a few design improvements or whatever, then you might say, hey, in your resume, a future design revision you might think about is, typography, or you might think about hierarchy to kind of help you do this thing and this other thing, right? And I say that to say, instead of just saying, don't say your resume looks horrible. Things like that. That's we want to try to be productive. We want to try to encourage each other to um, specific things that they can do that's going to help improve. It's going to make their resume stronger. It's going to make their resume meet a lot of the requirements that we've been talking about as far as how we're looking at our resumes, and as well as our cover letters. So that's an example for like the resume. So an example for cover letter constructive feedback might be, recall in the example for Markel that the second and the third paragraph have very specific work that they're doing. Paragraph 2 is expanding on education and providing a very specific example about how an educational or a project experience qualifies them for the job, right? The third paragraph is more like, here's some previous work experience, and here is exactly something I did very specifically as an example that makes me a qualified candidate for the position as well. So you've got 4 paragraphs there that you should be addressed professionally. So in providing feedback, then there you might say, in paragraph 2, you might think about providing a good specific example that speaks to the job posting, right? Or something along those lines. Or I like the way that you said this, and maybe expand upon that instead of just say, I have great communication skills, for example, right? Provide a specific example of communication skills that you've done, that you participated in, so the employer really gets a sense of what you mean by that communication skill, because communication skills can mean a wide range of things, right? So cover letter wants to expand as much as possible on the actual resume. So those are some things that you might think about when it comes to providing feedback to your fellow students in the class. Again, recall we're doing this on Blackboard, right? We just kind of went through showing you where this is right up here. Go to peer review. Obviously, you'll be entering in your specific class. I just happen to be on the 008 class here. And then you'll obviously, when you click into your own Blackboard, you'll automatically be in your own CRN course and section number. So, all right, so I'll be back, I'm sure at some point over the weekend, and we'll start talking about next week. I will also be taking some time this weekend to look at the drafts, and I'll chime in and provide some feedback as well, much like I did over last weekend when we did the week 1 discussion posts on our other website. So think you guys can handle it. I'm already starting to see people post things and create threads. So keep up with that. Make sure you get your resume posted tonight, and then by Sunday night, get your 2 replies, 1 reply to 2 different students. And also, please make sure everyone at least gets 1 or 2 opportunities for feedback. So if you go on, if you log on and you see that there's 2 or 3 students who haven't received no feedback yet, and it's Sunday night or whatever, just select those, right? If there's 1 or 2 students that are getting a tremendous amount, don't just piggyback on those. Let's make sure we give everybody an opportunity to get some good quality feedback. And then as you're reading and learning more about this process that we're going through for creating a resume and creating cover letters, take note of how some of your, that's why I say you always start with something here. I like the way that you're doing this one thing, because that might be something that you can incorporate in your resume or in your cover letter too. So that's why we start off with the positive, because that gives us an opportunity to learn something as well. And that's what this is all about. So, all right, guys, I'll say goodbye for now from Edmond, Oklahoma, just northeast of Oklahoma City. I'll be back, obviously, with week 3 overview videos coming soon, as well as I'll be chiming in on the discussion board post for additional feedback and stuff like that to your projects as we sally forth in this summer semester that always seems to go by really, really fast. So, all right, guys, take care. You have a great weekend, and I will be back speaking with you soon. Holler if you need anything. Bye.